Welcome everyone to the IC PAX East Qualifier Day number 2. I'm Nick Axavranis, joined by Megan Zagnat-Bow. And we have an awesome show here for you guys here today. 8 teams competing to get one of 2 spots for an all-expenses paid trip to the $25,000 tournament held at PAX East. Of course, the winning team will also get $500 on top of that all-expenses paid trip. Before we talk about the teams and the tournament structure, for those of you who aren't as familiar with Infinite Crisis, here's a video from Megan explaining what the game is all about.
So Infinite Crisis is a 5v5 MOBA set in the DC universe. It's highly competitive, based around just being balanced and fun. There are in-game objectives that let you just basically blow up the world, no matter who you are, Green Lantern, Batman, the Joker. You can pick up cars, you can pick up meteors, throw them, create your own path, and it's just all about being, being the best at what you do, but also helping out your teammates. So for those of you who haven't heard, Infinite Crisis is finally opening its open beta, coming in March 14th. We've got 3 heroes that we're releasing all at once. So Aquaman, he's going to be a really neat blaster that has all these different abilities he can use with his ultimate. We're also coming out with Green Arrow, who's really exciting around this time. He's going to be the final marksman to join. I know you guys have all really wanted this marksman to be entering. And we also have Mecha Superman, who's a mechanical version of Superman that has a really tragic backstory that you should probably do some research on. So at PAX East, we're going to be having this 25K tournament for the pros and also a 5K amateur tournament that anybody, so that means you, can sign up for and have a chance to win. So the qualifiers for the tournament that we're doing right now for PAX East is going to give 2 open spots for people to contend against titans like Dignitas EU and Complexity. So if you want any part of this, you best come to PAX East and we'll see you there.
Alright, now that you've seen a little bit about the game, you can see how awesome it is. 5-on-5 superheroes and supervillains. Play your favorite DC character and create massive destruction in the world of Infinite Crisis. Let's talk about the teams and a tournament structure.
Absolutely. So we actually saw yesterday that KGB took it by storm. KGB, who was actually the winners of the last tournament. However, this is a different roster. So KGB beat Templar Gaming in kind of a landslide. So today we're actually going to be looking at Field Team 6 and Aware Academy going at it.
That's right, and of course later in the week you'll see Vex Gaming versus Absolute Legends and KGS versus KGO. The winning team advances into the winner bracket. The losing team drops down into the lower bracket, and of course if the losing team ends up winning the next couple matches, we'll catch them again in the lower bracket semifinals, lower bracket finals, and potentially even the grand finals. That brings us to our tournament schedule. So you can see here today, February 26th, we do have that Field Team 6 match going up against Aware Academy, and later on next week you'll see Vex versus Absolute Legends, Clever Gaming Syndicate versus Clever Gaming Origins, and then in the coming weeks matches that'll go further along in the tournament and reduce our teams to finally a first place team and a second place team that get those spots to the tournament at PAX.
Absolutely, that's actually going to be too much to wait for. Actually, I don't know. That's so far apart. How are people going to be able to stop and think like, I need to know who is going to make it?
You know what you can do? What you can do is you can just keep tweeting your favorite teams saying, hey guys, do good in the next tournament. I hope you guys end up making it to PAX because that's what it's all about, building that tension and getting behind your favorite teams, rooting for their players, or even just seeing some awesome games in Infinite Crisis. As all these players are very good and capable of putting forth an amazing performance for you. Brings us to today's match. Of course, Field Team 6 versus Aware Academy. Let's take a look at the team rosters here.
So the first team that we're going to be taking a look at is Field Team 6. We've got Mythological, Nick3570, Blame McChuckles, always blame him, Johnny and Chim Chim, as well as Eni or ENI or whatever he wants to be called.
And of course, this roster used to be the roster of Vengeance Gaming, I believe. So they're now onto Field Team 6, but it's the same people that we have seen in the IC Winter Open. They weren't, I believe they were the 4th place team at the end of the first stages of IC Winter Open. They weren't able to make it to the playoffs in the end, but they're definitely one of the more capable teams to look out for. And this tournament, we'll see, have they bridged that gap? Are they as good as the Clever Gaming teams or as Absolute Legends now? How much have they improved since the IC Winter Open?
Yeah, they're still, there's definitely just still in the running, and a couple of those are actually, I believe, newer to the roster.
And of course, that brings us to our second team that's going up against Field Team 6 today, Aware Academy. They got a lot of strong players. They do have Advi, who often plays a marksman. They also have Fresh Snow, Talaswis, Rathazun.
Rathazun.
Rathazun. Excuse me
just
there.
call him Wrath.
Wrath. We'll call him Wrath, or Rathazun if you want to do it fully. Cypher and Ukrainian IBA 13.
Ukrainian Kiba.
Ukrainian Kiba.
Yes.
1-3. You gotta have the 1-3 at the end there just to look cool.
Why don't you just call him 13 and just disregard the rest of his name?
That's easier. 13. I think there's a movie called 13, but that's a side point. So those are our two teams matching up today. Why don't we just get into the game and see what draft picks they make?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're here in the lobby. We can see all these teams' picks going down. Aware Academy playing Gascat. I've recently started to try her out a lot, and I think we're going to probably see her in the lane. And with Doomsday in the jungle, I think, from Aware Academy. Are those two champions, who do you think is more likely to beat in jungle? Well, I guess seeing her Stolen Powers.
Stolen Powers sort of give it away. That double... The double true damage to the drones is going to be really helpful. Also, I think that having Gastic Catwoman in a solo lane gives her the benefit of having that attack damage scaling per level, and not to mention her Steam Power Claws is really good for bullying in a lane.
On the other side, we see FTS Nick playing the Flash. He's going to be in a lane as well. Their jungler is going to be, probably looks like it's going to be Superman. So this is really interesting. They're playing 3 melee champions. And that means they're going to have to have a melee champion either solo lane, or they could play a lane. What could be interesting is having both Flash and Atomic Poison Ivy in the same lane. And with Flash's gap closer and Atomic Poison Ivy's ability to slow and stun an opponent, they might be able to be very aggressive in the lane.
That's conceptually kind of cool, maybe kind of like going for a kill lane, but thinking about actually playing that lane makes me want to cringe. Just because of the whole lack of being able to harass from range sounds like the most depressing and frustrating experience. So I think it might be more likely that we will see
Flash on a solo lane, I think, actually.
Yeah, Flash is probably going to be. He's probably going to be in the solo lane. He doesn't have any surveillance cameras, but I don't think he really needs them. He's the Flash, and Nick 357 actually plays the Flash really like a lot. He's played him like since the beginning of time.
And you know, that makes sense because even though Flash early on can be hurt in a lane, he can just hang back, try to gather experience, and then in the later game he can explode. And meanwhile, they can have maybe Gaspat or Zatanna paired with Atomic Poison Ivy lane, and that's a scary pair to go up against because Gaspat or Zatanna can dish out a good amount of damage, and if you get stuck by Atomic Poison Ivy, you're going to be going down quick.
That's definitely true. So the team compositions in general is actually a lot different than what we saw last time. We're still seeing the old favorite of Poison Ivy, but you know, now that the marksmen are split, we might see some sort of interesting dichotomy in the way that goes. I'm pumped to see that Ukrainian Kiba actually has the Arkham Warden's Joker costume, so that must be legit. But I'm kind of confused by his choice of the Consume.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. You usually don't see Consume picked for someone who's not going to be in a lane, or not going to be in a jungle, excuse me. But perhaps he just wants some extra sustain in a lane. He's choosing that over Heal Wave for more versatility. It also is, as we noticed, I think that was Atomic Green Lantern. Oh, Nightmare Batman's. Okay, sorry. So he won't get that speed boost, but he'll just get a lot more lifesteal.
Yeah, I think that's probably good if he does intend to just kind of stick in the lane. So Doomsday, who was originally going to go with the Detonate and Consume combo, ended up switching out Consume for a Teleport. So that's probably going to be for some pretty sneaky fresh no ganks at some point in the game. So
you know, look at Field Team 6. Almost their entire roster, with the exception of Gaspat, went Medusa Mask level 2 early on. It's often one of the better starting items. But you can see Aware Academy disagrees. One of their players, who Poison Ivy, went with the Medusa's Mask, but they're in general more favoring the nil weapon, which of course, instead of life regen, it gives you life steal on every basic attack.
I think that clearly indicates that Field Team 6 is a little bit more about, you know, the probably being passive, letting themselves sustain through the lanes, and that might be good because considering, like you said, it's 3 melee characters over there, they probably want to rely on, you know, being able to last over time, because if they all in too early into the game, then they're taking a huge risk against people with ranged abilities.
Look at Doomsday. He's got his first date tux on. One of my favorite costumes is the first date Doomsday. Of course, in the game, he probably won't be asking people on dates. So he'll probably be charging him and slashing him with his ferocious talons.
You don't realize he is asking them on a date, though. When he charges into them, he's like, please come with me.
Please come with me. And he just carries him into a wall and then starts slapping the ground around him.
He doesn't know his own strength. That's him trying to show love and affection.
That's true. He's just a little bit physical, overly physical there, and ends up causing destruction. We can see here, they're going to go for the early life regen drop here from Aware Academy. Meanwhile, Field Team 6, are they going to go for this drop here? I believe it's a speed drop if they take out this Berserker.
Yeah, it seems like they're positioning both in the bottom jungle, and now it's not symmetrical. So it's actually,
well, it's symmetrical if you kind of cut the map diagonally, I guess. In a way.
it's like it's diagonal symmetry. So it's kind of interesting to see. The Speed Destroyer is going to be taken by Field Team 6, which means they're getting the Health Destroyer. Which, after we just had the discussion of Medusa Smack being completely on Field Team 6, it's interesting they wouldn't go for the Health Destroyer first, but it's not too big of a deal. I think that they really will probably prioritize getting both the Speed and the Health Destroyer before we see too much action happening.
Like this Poison Ivy setting up some cameras for her team. We do have the Marksman duel at the top. Advi playing Cyborg versus Smith as Gaspat. We'll have to take a look at who's winning that lane later on. Meanwhile, it's Gascat versus Flash, and two melee champions in the middle. And I think Flash will have a hard time against Gascat, as those steam-powered claws are really going to just do a lot of damage to him. Yeah,
like you said, Ratson has that ability to just kind of throw those out, and they've got a pretty forgiving hitbox too. You'd have to be really tricky at juking those. Once again, we just see him, and the damage over time from a passive is also just ticking away, and that must be frustrating for the Flash. Level 1 Flash, I mean, what can you do?
I mean, even if he dives in on her, I think she would beat him at level 1 as far as just base damage out, but we can see Aware Academy trying to get the EMP. I believe they did get it, even though we saw Zatanna there, Johnny trying to get the last hit. But you can see Superman coming in to try to push Rathazan off the lane because she's already level 2, Flash is still at level 1, and that's just as tough. If you look at the credits, Flash, since he's been forced back in the lane by those Steam Power Claws, he hasn't been able to get any last hits, and the Gascat has been stopping all his credits, so these are his first credits he's getting in the match, are the ones he's picking up once the lane is already pushed to his tower.
Yeah, being pushed into the turret actually diminishes the value unless you establish the last hit. Once, you know, if your turret gets the kill, you don't get as many credits for that drone. So I think Gaslight Catwoman knows her advantage in that, and pushing really hard has to do that because Flash Burst later on is going to be tough to contend.
We can see here, Innie is really focusing on trying to position for ganks in the lanes, whereas Doomsday, played by Fresh Note, is more prioritizing just clearing the jungle. And we can see he's level 3 versus Innie's level 2. And look at this, pushing him into the wall. Maybe he's trying to ask him on a date, but really he's just putting out a ton of damage on Superman. Advi here with Cyborg. He's going to try to run him down. The Tracer shot hits, but looks like Innie will escape, although he may be forced back, and that's going to really slow down his progression through the jungle.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this top lane. I'm actually surprised to see Advi pushing mid back to such a degree because Gaslight Batman seems to be the safer sort of person to deal with. They're actually going to get EMP rank 2 due to the fact that they've got both Pulse Destroyers. Before 4 minutes elapses, they take both of those. So that's really good teamwork by Aware Academy so far.
Yeah, I mean, they're winning every single lane so far, and their jungler Fresh Snow. We can see here, if we look at his credits, he's at 1255 level 3 against Innie, who's at 1180 and only level 2. So they're pretty much winning the game right now across the board. Of course, as time goes on, things can change very quickly. The middle lane, if you ever solo lane as Flash, you expect to be losing the lane early on, as he's one of the champions that really needs to get all his skills and start getting some items before he can really get strong.
It's actually even going to be difficult for Rathazan to really get ganked because he's got the cameras and he's also got the stealth. So anybody that really tries to come for him, like Annie is coming in right now, but it's level 2 versus level 4. So I feel like she can actually turn around and just instantly kill that Superman.
Wow.
And Rathazan had the same thought. Superman was like, maybe I shouldn't come out at level 2 to gank. That was rough, and I think the Health Destroyer is actually being dropped for Rathazan in the mid lane, kind of a little bit, you know, in the middle there, but that, you know, Gaslight Catwoman also, if she builds a little bit of lifesteal or takes a tiny bit of sustain, she can stick in the lane for a pretty long time. She's got the Tektite Vial, and she has the health pack and the Soul Taker Katana, so interestingly enough, that was exactly what she was thinking.
Her first item, saying if I'm ahead, just go straight for that Soul Taker Katana. Once she gets that to level 3 or tier 3 of the item, the artifact there, that'll allow her to start collecting additional damage and lifesteal upon every drone she either kills or coin she picks up if a drone dies to some other cause.
Yeah, and we can see throughout this whole game, other than objectives, we've got a lot of inaction in terms of really junglers coming out and doing their thing. And I actually think that Superman is really rough in the jungle. He doesn't have a lot of wave clear. In order to have wave clear, he has to use his Frost Breath, and that's kind of a low, or rather a higher cooldown, and the will cost of it isn't really rewarding to use it in order to clear the jungle. So I think we're going to see naturally Doomsday being much quicker at clearing without having to worry about will, and naturally dealing more AoE damage than Superman's capable of.
Looks like Poison Ivy is coming off the lane. Oh, just putting additional cameras around, saying, okay, looks like we're going to start pushing this bottom lane. We got to be really careful in case Superman comes down and tries to gank us. Right now, Superman's at the top. I don't think they know exactly where he is right now, so being careful placing those surveillance cameras around the map.
So you've got those two chicks in the bottom lane, McChuckles and Johnny playing Zatanna and Atomic Poison Ivy. That's a pretty well-sustained lane, but against the prowess of, you know, the poke and the sustain from Joker and Poison Ivy, I don't think that they're going to be doing too well in that regard.
No, it's you know, it's looking tough for for Field Team 6 so far. Rathazin continues to just boss around his mid lane. If you look at credits, Rathazin already up over 2,000, whereas Nick is still at 1,472. He just hasn't been able to get into that drone line and get any last hits or even pick up any credits.
And there's actually a kind of somewhat advanced tactic that Rathazin is employing. Instead of just mindlessly pushing that lane, he's actually letting a lot of his own drones die. So that way, he just is able to stomp the credits before Flash is even able to get in there and do anything about it.
It looks like Nick is trying to put some surveillance cameras of his own around, figure out where did Rathazin go. He's actually heading down, maybe going for a gank. Poison Ivy at level 4, Flash at level 5. No, he's going to head back up top. So the little skid, oh no, Fresh No finds him and pushes him in the wall. That would be a very unhappy Flash.
Oh gosh.
And look at this, that health pickup and will pickup just being so valuable to Rathazin. Still at full life, accumulating more will here to continue throwing those steam-powered claws out and putting damage on Flash.
Looks like Freshno is actually kind of honing in on that bottom lane there, but not actually going to make a move. Probably going for that Pulse Destroyer, and I don't think that we're going to see any resistance through Field Team 6, at least nothing too... Oh, there we go, yep.
You know what's interesting, though? I think that was more of just, let's get some credits and let's stop them from an EMPs, because I believe they already had a double EMP up that they haven't used yet. It's kind of just sitting in the base, waiting. It is a double EMP pickup.
That's true, but I mean, you don't necessarily need to use it if you deny the opportunity to your teammates to.
Exactly.
It's just as good, almost, as just doing it. And this early Raider, really early Raider.
Oh, wow. And of course, when you kill the Raider, it allows you to get this giant purple orb pickup. That turns into a massive camera that gives you enormous vision across the map wherever you decide to place it.
Yeah, so the surveillance tower, which is what it's denoted by those 3 orbs that were circling around, is actually visible to the enemy team and can take 10 basic attacks. So it's got a really, really big field of vision, but you know, the trade-off is that if the enemies run into it and encounter it, they can take it out.
But of course, it's placed in that stealth pad, so unless they happen to go through this zone, they're not going to realize it's there. Once they know the Raider's been taken out, they may go and look for that. But right now, I think they're just trying to stay in the lanes and trying to get credits. And so far, they're starting to fall behind from Wear Academy, but not by too much. 3K credits, that hurts. But that's not too big of a difference quite yet.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Looks like Cyborg is still putting some of the hurt on Gaslight Batman. Mythological taken more than half of his turret's health out by now. Superman just saw somebody back and was like, I kind of wonder what I should be doing now. You can see, actually, the vision that is distributed. I'll see another. This is the 4th Pulse Destroyer I believe they've gotten throughout the match.
Well, they haven't gotten it yet. In fact, Superman on Adipy, Frost Breath slows him. He's going to try to finish off Myth. But no, he goes down, and that was the first kill of the game, actually. Or sorry, the second kill of the game, putting Field Team 6 on an even footing with Aware Academy.
Yep, first kill for Field Team 6, and Doomsday, Freshno came in, trying to help out in the top lane, but a little late to the party. Fashionably late on his first date.
Yeah, he's going to see what he can do in the lane, but with 3 here from Field Team 6, I think he's just going to be happy with posturing. If he goes in there, he could be taken out. Frost Breath goes on, but Doomsday's staying far enough away that it can't really take him out quite yet.
So Rathazin, not having anybody to contest in the mid lane, is just going to stick around and get those credits and get that experience and probably deal some heavy damage to that turret. And I think actually Flash and Superman know that, and they're on their way to try to gang up on Rathazin and see if they can take him out. But I don't know if they are going to be able to, because, you know, she's a wily one.
She is. There goes Flash. Flash attack and F equals MA putting damage on Rathazin. Rathazin has got to get out of there. There goes the ultimate from Flash. But Rathazin is able to just barely escape. Maybe invulnerability goes down. Superman coming in as well, but oh no! Rathazin at least gets a kill for a kill there. Tries to drop the speed to potentially escape, but it's too late, and Flash is able to get out there, at least until he runs into Doomsday, who picks up the kill.
Yeah, that was a super good play by Rathazin. I think if he had taken a little bit more care to juke, he might have avoided most of that damage, but at the same time, if they predicted his juke, he wouldn't have been able to make it back to the turret and pick up one of those kills at least.
Meanwhile, at the top, the marksman duel is still going on, but it's Cyborg played by Aware Academy's Advi who's getting the advantage, putting more and more damage on this turret. This turret is getting really low. Every one of Cyborg's attacks as a marksman, of course, does a lot of damage to that turret.
I think if he stuck around, that Myth might have tried to capitalize on it, and ADV made a pretty good choice by backing out right at that moment.
I mean, it's nice to get a turret kill, but once the turret's low, you know you're going to be able to finish it off pretty soon as long as you keep that lane push. So playing safe, keeping his life maxed out, saying, okay, next drone wave, once you get it pushed back, then I'll go ahead and finish that turret off.
Definitely true. We've seen Atomic Ivy and Zatanna in the bottom lane, still hanging out, still trying to do their thing.
All right, guys. Unfortunately, there was a match issue going on. We're going to try to get back in the game as soon as possible to keep this awesome gameplay going on. But right now, we do have a game where Aware Academy is ahead by a little bit, but they're not nearly as ahead as KGB was in yesterday's match. I mean,
don't think that you really could be. KGB did so well, but right now Aware Academy is doing the similar strategy to what KGB is doing. They're getting together, they're taking those objectives, but I think that Field Team 6 is kind of catching on, and they've been a little bit more proactive about trying to get in on those ganks. Superman and Flash had gone for Rathazan, was able to take him out. Maybe they need to pull back on the diving a little bit. That might be something that helps it, perhaps,
Yeah.
But not too much diving.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're doing a pretty solid job overall. Both teams have gotten a couple kills. It's 3 kills to 2. Credits are fairly close. That top turret is about to die, and that could be the first turret death in the game. But overall, it's still looking like a very even game. Now, that early Raider kill from Team Aware Academy could maybe play a role here.
Yeah, I bet you that top turret is actually dead by now. And having 2 marksmen pitted against one another and having one marksman be a little bit stronger can actually be a pretty influential factor in the way that the game pans out. So I think ADV is going to have the slight advantage, not to mention he does have the AoE, whereas Gaslight Batman has his ultimate in his Batarang to be able to do area of effect damage, but it's very reliant on having multiple targets there to be able to bounce off of, whereas, you know, Cyborg can kind of penetrate through everything. He's got the 4th basic attack, so he can deal, you know, the max health, I believe it is. Cyborg deals max health when he procs his passive.
Yes, it's a certain percentage of the max health he takes off with every attack. But we're gonna try to get back in this game as soon as possible. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the second match of the IC PAX East qualifiers. Okay, looks like we're back in the game again. Apologies for the issue there with the disconnect, but we can kind of see where things stand. It looks like we were at 3 kills, 2 deaths from Aware Academy before we lost the connection. Now we're at 6 kills, 3 deaths. So things are getting a little bit more heated up here as Aware Academy is really put under pressure. Oh, the Superman ultimate interrupted by Doomsday there. Fresh Snow, a great move, because I'm pretty sure Rathazan would have been in a world of trouble if that super ultimate actually connected.
That's definitely true. It was interesting to actually come back and see Rathazan counter diving after he was dove. He was like, you know what? You want to taste of your own medicine? Because this is happening now. And he was actually able to secure a couple of kills there.
Meanwhile, still more pressure being put into bottom lane. The top lane turret was taken out by ADV, and he's continuing to just grab EMP drone after EMP drone. They still have a single EMP. Now it's a double EMP. Fresh Snow's going to pick that up. Doomsday loves nothing more than charging in on people, and taking that turret off your back while you do so is a great option.
Taking a look at the difference between the marksman, whoa, sorry, Poison Ivy.
That's what happens when you get frozen by Superman and blasted by Zatanna, but Doomsday comes in, gets the revenge kill, taking out Atomic Poison Ivy, but Johnny and Innie should be okay. Oh no, there's the EMP. That's why I picked it up. Doomsday wants more destruction, running down Zatanna.
I don't think he's going to be actually able to secure that. It was the 8-second EMP, but they're so far from the turret now that it's actually irrelevant. Zatanna, a bit of a late shield, but able to pick up that kill. Superman, just super good defense. Joker, you've got no will. You got to run. You can't fight. You can't fight Superman without any will.
Doomsday looking handsome, but taken out nonetheless. Meanwhile, Joker's going to back away. He's able to escape. Let's take a look at some of the items these champions are building. We can see Rathazan did get the Soul Taker Katana level 3 in order to make sure that, of course, he could get that collection going on and start building up the attack damage and lifesteal. Also going for Claw of Horse, so really lifesteal focused Gaslight Catwoman here.
It's interesting, but I mean, it makes sense. Definitely being able to sustain yourself in a solo lane is something that she's really going for. Ooh, Myth taking out that Cyborg. Deceptive! That was really good. And the credit difference at that point had been such that I would not have guessed that Myth would have been able to pull that one out. He's 4,800 credits now, and Cyborg is still 700 credits ahead. So imagine how many more credits there was a difference of prior to him securing that kill.
Yeah, you know, I think one of the big things that helped him out there is that he went for the Claw of Horse first, whereas Cyborg went for Soul Taker's Katana. And in the long run, once you collect a lot of coins, Soul Taker's Katana does become an incredibly strong item. But in a one-on-one duel at this stage of the game, I think it's hard to beat Claw of Horse because you drain their attack armor every hit. It gives you attack damage and attack armor, so almost an ideal item for a marksman duel.
Yeah, it's a good point, and we also didn't see the beginning of that fight, so it might have been that Cyborg was a little bit overzealous in terms of the amount of health he had at the time. Perhaps shouldn't have been initiating that fight with Gaslight Batman.
And here we go, a little bit of situation here in the jungle. Both teams poking at each other for Doomsday wants to get down the action, but they're going to settle for hanging out in the lane for a bit. Meanwhile, uh-oh, it's 4 here from Field Team 6, so that could be a problem for Wear Academy. But they're staying back enough that I think they can escape from a situation.
I don't know if they're really looking to take out that bottom turret, but, you know, grouping is usually something that you want to have an objective in mind for, else you're kind of splitting experience and you're splitting your resources in such a way that might not be for the best. The top turret and the mid turret is gone, so it could even just be in stalwart defense of their bottom turret, hoping to pick up a few kills and turn the tide in their favor.
That's right, they do have the 4 and 3, but Flash was thinking about going back to middle. Now sees there could be some action, he's coming back in. F equals MA and Poison Ivy to Flash attack. And that's the burst damage of Flash. Poison Ivy finished by Superman, and that's why you group, so you can get that 4 and 3. And now it looks like Joker turned into rabbit form, trying to get away, but finished by a combination of a rabbit, a Zatanna, and a Flash ultimate there.
There is some reaction from Rathazan. I think he knows that Ennie is low. If he can come around, oh, he's just gonna, oh, yep, comes out. Where's the Steam Power Claws? Looks like he didn't even need him. Doomsday, a good defense, but Superman still goes down. Rathazan trying to escape.
Can he escape? Atomic Poison Ivy, a lot of great slows, but no, is end up taken out. Now it's fresh nose Doomsday under a tree, but it's hard to run from the Flash. That guy is fast.
Yeah, but he's also out of will.
That's
and
true.
Nobody can do anything when they're out of will.
Without will, there is no way, but they can, even though they don't get Doomsday, they can head down and take down the Raider, and of course that's going to help things out because right now, Aware Academy has great vision from their earlier tower they put down when they got the Raider kill. You know, it'd be nice for Field Team 6 to have some counter vision available. Yeah,
looks like nobody's actually even moseyed on through there, so that's just kind of a free surveillance tower they have lurking in their jungle.
Oh, another marksman duel perhaps, but Myth saying, I'm already hurt, I don't want any part of a one-on-one here. And wow, look how fast Cyborg takes him down when he hits that Tracer shot just right on the mark.
Pretty excellent on Advy's part.
And now Iddy's going to try to come in, but it's 8 versus 13, 9 versus 13, excuse me. Can he actually take on Cyborg? He's putting on a lot of damage right now, but then vulnerability pops and Indy has got to run away. Oh.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
he's good.
He is good.
If he sticks around, though, I think Cyborg can do a sneaky little like RQ basic attack.
Oh, but there's Flash. Cyborg's got to be careful. At Half-Life, if he commits to an engagement and Flash comes in on him, he could go down very quickly.
But he's actually out of there. He pieced out. He's healing in the base. Down at the bottom, we see Atomic Poison Ivy coming to help Zatanna defend that turret. I think, yeah, she's still got that surveillance tower. Hasn't placed it anywhere yet. Probably doesn't know what the most opportune thing is. They haven't made any really aggressive pushes at this point, so no point in just kind of throwing it out there if it's going to be discovered and killed.
Looks like we do have some exchanges here. Joker trying to keep the pressure on. Gascat continues to farm that middle lane, while Superman takes it, this top EMP drone with the help of Flash. Now, Gascat Rathazan has just been pretty much in the middle the whole time, so she's level 13. She has a lot of credits to her name and built up a very scary set of items.
Yeah, we're seeing actually a lot of return from Field Team 6. They seemed like they were having kind of a rough start, but they're doing a lot of objectives at this point, taking it back, and being on the defensive is good, especially if you can hold your own and it's not to the point of like, oh, I guess I'm defensive because I kind of have to be. It seems like it's actually a tactical decision, and they're not necessarily forced into turtling. They're just kind of taking the safe route and taking advantage of any of the opportunities that have kind of risen up here and now.
Yeah, you know, well, it's looking like Aware Academy has really been in control of the game. The credit difference is very small. The kill-death ratio is almost identical. So Field Team 6 is actually doing a great job of fighting from, you could say, a slightly disadvantageous position. But it's really, they've been trading back and forth throughout the last 10 minutes.
Definitely true. It looks like Nick is actually going in for the bottom lane, but we see Fresh Snow coming in from behind too. Do you think Doomsday or Flash is going to be more important in turning the tide of this battle? Atomic Poison Ivy, despite being tanky, already at half health. They do not have the sustain of Poison Ivy in the middle of that battle, so I think in terms of pure aggression that they're beat out BioWare Academy.
Yeah, but they should be strong to defend a turret, but no, here's Rapids, and it could be a 4-on-3 situation here. And, you know, when you're defending a turret or you're sieging a turret, having a good poke is very important, but with Flash on top Poison Ivy, their main poke is Atana, and they're going up against both Poison Ivy, Rathazin, and Joker, who all have pretty good poke options.
That's definitely true, but it's also that freaking healing circle.
And Superman's coming in from the top as well. Can he make the difference? Here's Innie sneaking in from the top. Doomsday's going to actually head back, deciding, you know what, sieging his turret may not work out. They're not letting him go back to Zatanna, just being a little bit annoying there.
They're actually going in on Ukrainian Kiba, but he does use his Vanish to get away. Fresh Snow kind of running in there, popping his ultimate, showing how scary he is, and you know, they kind of just falling back. They don't want to take a lot of damage from the enemy's drones, so they're making sure that they're going in there with their drones as well.
And looks like Doomsday really does want to go back and maybe wants to switch to top and try to get a gank on Gasped, or maybe just push the middle lane a little bit. But now it is a 3-on-4 with Aware Academy being down a person in this bottom lane. And you can see they're kind of just fighting back with, no, is that Doomsday teleporting right back into action. He went back to grab the EMP. That's what he went back for. He wants to drop that EMP on the turret and try to get a nice pusher going in the bottom lane.
See, I feel like the turret is so low that it might even be a waste to use the EMP there. They should just take that turret out instantly and then use it on the turret in the future. But you know what? That's still probably a really good play.
Oh, look how fast Rathazin almost went down. Flash ultimate finishing him off. But Fresh Snow takes out Innie. No, he doesn't. Innie escapes, and Fresh Snow goes down. Great play by Field Team 6, grabbing 2 kills and having Superman actually escape there. Now Flash should be able to run down Poison Ivy here, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that was really worth it for Aware Academy.
No, I mean, they did get a turret kill, but they're all going to fall down. There goes the slow from Atomic Poison Ivy, the finishing hit from Zatanna. And wow, what a turnaround. Was that 4 kills right there, a clean sweep for nothing. And if you look at the credits, they're getting closer and closer. And I mean, once they push this turret, which they should be able to do easily, that's even going to put them pretty much on even footing back in the game.
But you know what? We have not so secret Advi, just weapon, just murderalizing top. So I don't really know. There's just so much deathness in the top lane for this poor guy like Batman. He's just suffering.
Cyborg could be in trouble there. Remember, Cyborg's escapes aren't that great. Superman coming in, and this is the problem with Cyborg as a split pusher, is that he has a hard time escaping from a gank.
Yeah, but do you see how much damage he was actually able to put out, despite the fact that he was just getting messed up on?
I mean, Myth definitely took a beating there, but again, that's more of a sign that in a team fight, if they can't take down Cyborg quickly, he is going to brutalize their team, and that's going to be something that I think Nick, playing Flash, is really going to be looking for in those team fights. How fast can he take out Cyborg before Cyborg really takes out the rest of his team?
That's a good point. Flash, actually, what is Flash building in terms of, is he going mostly for the damage? Yeah, he's got the penetration, fatalities, energy lance, a Starheart for the burst. He seems to be pretty much all in, just super deep damage for that. Rathazin is actually taking out the Raider by himself. That's the lifesteal for you.
I mean, yeah, Rathazin's lifesteal is absurd. He was Soul Taker, Katana, and Claw of Horus. Building the Lobos chain, once he finishes that Lobos chain off, it's going to be really hard to retreat from the Gaslight Catwoman. And with, I mean, 9,000 credits worth of artifacts, I think Gaslight Catwoman is currently probably the single strongest champion in the game in a 1-on-1. Well, actually, Cyborg is getting pretty ridiculous with how Abby's,
you know, it's definitely tough to say that somebody is necessarily the best 1v1 contender when you just consider all of the different artifacts that people can be building.
That's true. It all depends on how you build, of course. It is a team game, and so sometimes you build your champion to be a great dueler, sometimes you build your champion to be the best support in a team fight. It all depends on what your team needs from you at the time.
Exactly. And it depends on how many kills you can steal, because it's not about stealing kills, it's just about the number, because you split credits evenly. So it's just about being like, I got all the kills, and even though somebody has the same amount of assists as you or more than you, it means you're more important because you got more kills. That's not actually true. I know that I said that without a hint of sarcasm, so I don't want people to think I'm a psychopath.
But it was really totally sarcastic there. Looks like there's some positioning here from Superman and Flash. They really wanted to make something happen. I think they're realizing that they can't let Cyborg continue to dominate the top lane, so they're really trying to shut him down with a lot of ganks here.
That's probably good. That's definitely good for Field Team 6.
Do they know they're there? I think they saw them coming up. Well, now they obviously know Rathazin's here as well. Trying to go in Rathazin. There's a Flash ultimate, but look how fast Innie went down to Cyborg and Gascat. Now it's Flash trying to finish off Gascat. Can he do it? Wow, every Cyborg basic attack with how fed he is just being brutal. Gaspat swings in there. Oh, he gets the skill on Cyborg. A great move there by Gascat. Now Fresh Nose is going to push him back towards the turret. But is that enough? If Atomic Poison Ivy can help Mist stay alive, with that lifesteal, Doomsday can't finish him off.
Yeah, and I don't think Rathasan wants to stick around at all. If Myth lands like that basic attack, Batarang, he's he's like,
Mick Chuckles is making sure to zone Rathasan out because, well, Myth could kill Rathasan with 2 hits. Rathasan also, with the Q ultimate combo, could probably take Myth out. Oh, she was thinking about it. You can see her through the claws, but no follow-up there.
No, I mean the lifesteal might sustain her a little bit, but if I were Rathasan, I'd probably go in there and lifesteal off of some drones. But as a result of that, it looks like there was a pretty big counter push from Aware Academy because there was 4 on the top lane for Field Team 6. And only 3 from Aware Academy, giving them the dominance in the bottom lane. So it was kind of a trade-off.
But they weren't able to put any damage on the turret at all. The first turret they killed, of course, earlier in the game. So what did that push on the bottom really accomplish besides exist? Yeah, that's true.
Being there.
And of course, I mean, they did push the Taunt off the lane a bit, able to kind of deny Johnny's ability to accumulate credits. So there is that. But I do think we're seeing Field Team 6 now. They've evened the credit ratio, and I think they're on a great comeback trail.
At this point, I think that it's going to come down a lot to just singular, the way that the lanes are handled. And I think if Advi continues to split push and does not get punished for it, it's going to kind of skew itself in Aware Academy's favor. But seeing as the patterns that Field Team 6 have been putting out, I don't think that Advi is actually going to get away with doing what he's been doing all game.
They've really been punishing him hard. And you know, Cyborg is strong, but with Superman has some stuns and slows. Flash, of course, has his speed, and Atomic Poison Ivy has a lot of stuns as well. It's really hard for Cyborg to actually kite away when he's being dived on.
So that was actually a 2v3, if I'm not mistaken. They took the Flash out so quickly, and these two were not able to put out that damage.
Advi coming in from behind, taking out Superman. McChuckle's going to try to defend the lane, but there's the EMP, and they're going to take down that turret without a problem. McChuckle should probably just run out of there.
The EMP is a really sweet feature, actually, and it's unique to Gotham Divided. It's really good for using the pushes, but at the same time, you have to keep track of it. You know, EMPs in the early game don't have as much weight because you don't have the pushing power, and in late game, usually it's at the point where anybody can contest them because usually both turrets have fallen, and it's kind of just like this really scary area of Death Zone.
So we're seeing it looks like Aware Academy is trying to converge on the bottom lane here. Johnny's going to do his best to defend, but he's got Joker and Poison Ivy from the front. He's got definitely the rest of the team of Aware Academy taking out that giant sensor turret from Field Team 6. But Field Team 6, of course, has caught wind to what's going on, and they're all grouping down here as well.
Ooh, but it looks like Zatanna is actually somewhat out of... No, I was going to say out of position, but that everybody on Field Team 6 just converged perfectly. And they're all the other lanes are ignored right now. It's a 5v5. The Superman initiate onto Advi might be a little preemptive, but oh wow, the damage dealt was pretty severe, and Flash prevented them from actually getting in there.
Yeah, and they were able to pick up a kill on Poison Ivy. That means there's no sustain left for Team Aware Academy. Going in on Cyborg, and he can't kite with that many stuns on him. He goes down quick as well. Fresh Snow is finished off, and now Rathasan's trying to escape, but Flash is on the case.
The moment Rathasan came in there, that was a nice juke.
A nice invisibility, juking the other direction.
Oh, they're like, what happened? Where did she go?
Well, now they maybe have an idea of where she went, but it's too late. Flash too far behind to run her down. But, you know, I think we saw kind of a problem there. Rathasan can do a good amount of damage, but if they take down Cyborg before he can really dish out too much damage, there's not that much damage output on Team Aware Academy. Poison Ivy, mostly, especially the way she's being built, not an insane amount of power damage. Mostly just will and being able to support her team well. Same thing with Fresh Snow. I mean, he's great at locking someone down, but he's more of a crowd control champion, at least the way he's being built now, than a damage dealer.
I think that in that fight, because of the aggression from Field Team 6, that Aware Academy was a little bit on the defensive and spent a little bit more time running than actually engaging. And had they decided instead of running and trying to kite to just all go in and focus one person down, it might have been closer. But 3 of them got wiped, and I think it's due to the fact that Superman was like, I'm going in, and Flash was like, I'm going in, and there was a perfect ultimate from Mythological. So I think there's just like that was perfect synergy on FTS's part, and I, you know, of course, in some way it might boil down to the team composition, but they still have a really strong output of damage on Aware Academy. They just need to utilize it in a good way.
They do. You know, it's super important with Cyborg having no escape that he's always in the back of the battle when it starts, and that's not what happened in the last engagement. He was right in the front, and so he had to back away, losing a lot of that damage output you're talking about.
Yeah. And they were repositioning. I think that Superman, because of the vision they had there, Superman was like, this is the perfect opportunity.
Yes.
Hit his ult just at the right time.
Exactly. They basically caught them when they were out of position with Cyborg kind of in the front because they're all running away, and he kind of ended up trailing behind. Now we do have a lot of posturing here. Gaspat heading up because of a full 5-on-5 in the mid lane.
Well, 4v5 because Fresh Snow actually got caught out in that corner and went down.
Oh man, look how fast Cyborg goes when he's locked down. Focusing Rathasan down next. He has to back away, and another pair of kills here from Field Team 6.
It seems to be that, you know, Flash and Superman kind of go ham and take the brunt of the damage, and it's working out for them really, really well.
Yeah, what they're doing great is they're sending Superman in about half a second in before Flash. So he takes the first skills, and then he can actually take the first skills because he's kind of the needy champion on the team, along with Atomic Poison Ivy. And then right when the first skills are used, Flash jumps in, puts out his damage, and then both of them can back out and get away.
Rathasan came out to deter Myth and that Atomic Poison Ivy from getting that turret, and it looks like it worked. Oh no, little Cyborg.
Poor little Cyborg. Of course, he should be coming back in just a couple seconds. Doomsday picking up the speed drop. Where is he running? Where are you running, Doomsday?
He's got to go fast.
Yeah,
he's been seeing Flash getting all the ladies, and he's like, I don't know why my suit is not working. So he's just trying to take those lessons.
He's like, it's got to be being able to run fast. That's what works. Looks like Joki's going to be a little bit careful here. He is pushing in the middle. But with all of Field Team 6 here, especially Flash and Gaspat, both those champions can really close in on you and take you out if you're not careful.
It's interesting to see that despite the fact that there's so many kills on Field Team 6's side, that they're barely ahead in terms of credits, and that's mostly due to the fact that Aware Academy has been really good at taking out the turrets and keeping on top of the objectives.
Taking a look at the items some of these players are building, we can see pretty much Cyborg and Gaspat going full out damage. Same thing with Gaslight Catwoman, whereas Superman is building kind of damage tank hybrid. But before you get into that, there's another team situation. Rathasan being focused down as the main damager, and Fresh Snow on his own is going to have to retreat, but can he get out of here? Oh, Advi came in, but without anyone in front of him. Look how fast he goes down, especially in rabbit form.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the case of just trickling in, and now they're being bullied out. Poison Ivy getting pursued by Superman. The split for the Joker. Uh-oh. Oh no, they're both just in such a dangerous position.
Superman picking up the speed to help run down Poison Ivy, and you know, they were able to take out the Flash, so it's a little bit harder to run someone down without him.
Really good root strike.
Yeah, getting that stun on. But you know, I don't think Field Team 6 is too sad about Poison Ivy getting away because they did kill the entire rest of the team.
Yeah, you know.
And only lost Flash.
Kind of a thing that's good. It's you don't want to go marching in one by one like the ants because you don't have the same. You can't focus. There's only a single source of damage, and then you're dead, and then another single source of damage coming in, and that's not really conducive to teamwork.
Yeah. They're having a really hard time keeping their champions alive is what's happening. You know, as soon as basically all the damage comes out, and especially with Satana, if she rabbits someone with the armor reduction, the rest of the team focuses that champion down, Superman, Gaspat, into Flash. And they just choose the two main damage dealers, either Gascat or Cyborg, focusing down instantly, and then Aware Academy is having a hard time kind of continuing to battle and dishing out damage.
And really, out of Aware Academy, who do you think should be focusing who on FTS? Because when you really look at it, Gaslight Batman's got the escape. Flash is so fast it's kind of hard to kill him. Superman's built on the Enforcer tanky side, and obviously that goes without saying Atomic Poison Ivy is too. Zatanna is probably the only one that you could really go for and hope to kill instantly, but even so, she can just turn you into a rabbit.
Yeah, and she's often in the back as well, so I think they did the right thing in that last engagement where they focused Flash first.
Yeah.
Because I think even if he is able to run away, but if you stun him, you know, with enough stuns, you can probably get him. But even if he does run away, you want to get him out of the battle early because he's one of the main sources of damage, and he has to be in the front, so he's an easier target. And then I guess you got to go for Gaspat or Zatanna, but it's very tricky because by the time they take Flash out of the fight, often Cyborg and Gascat are both down from their side.
Johnny did well placing that camera and seeing that everybody was there, and Rathasan kind of caught out of position. Fresh Snow actually went in really ham there, but Flash coming in from behind, once again focusing that Advi and catching everybody in his ultimate. It seems like that synergy from Superman and the Flash is just cinching it every single time, and Advi can't stay when his health is that low.
No, and Flash runs down Rathasan. Meanwhile, they're trying to run down the rest of the team. Looks like Joker's going to escape. Advi somehow got out there as well, but Fresh Snow, he's in a rough spot here. Zatanna makes herself fast, runs him down, hits the chain skills, hits the rabbit. Fresh Snow's still trying to get out of there, and I think he may escape, but there's a big push going on in the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, I think pushing Fresh Snow out of there.
McChuckle's like, give me the teeth. Just walks into them so Flash doesn't have to take the
Give me
the
them teeth, boy.
Joker, I don't mind your presence. I'll eat them for breakfast. Look at that, eating another full present set, knowing that it's fine as long as they pick up that kill.
Oh my god, Nick, what are you doing? Please, Nick.
He is just running everywhere. I mean, let's take a look at his build now because his damage is insane. He's got 10,000 credits. He's got a fully maxed out Fatality's Energy Dance, a fully maxed out Starheart, the Cosmic Belt as well, and he's starting on his Helm of Fate. And that's going to help him. I mean, that's a super smart item for him because almost all the damage from Aware Academy is Gas Cat and Cyborg as the bulk of it, and those are both attack damage. So Helm of Fate, as we can see here, Helm of Fate definitely gives him both attack armor and that power damage.
Ooh, they actually are pursuing Mythological, who I don't know that they actually want this fight.
There's only 3 of them here, right?
There's 3 and 3.
Yeah, but it's... I mean, Zatanna can come in quick, Flash can come in quick, whereas Aware Academy's reinforcements, I think, are a little further away.
It's true. They are.
This is scary. They're going to grab the EMP. That's a nice pick up there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Fresh Snow is trying to keep the team back, but now it's engaging. He's lost half his life already. Flash is coming in from behind. Zatanna coming in from on top. Can Aware Academy get out of here, or will Field Team 6 better run down to the champions? There goes the speed on Zatanna. She's coming in here. Can she slow anyone down? Flash is running as well. Adby gets bunnied, but a great ultimate from Poison Ivy to slow down Field Team 6, and I think that it may be an escape now.
The Superman ultimate is up. It literally just came up. I guarantee you he was just waiting with bated breath to like jump on them, but just not enough time. Some pretty good root strikes from Poison Ivy deterring them from that pursuit. But I don't know. Rathazon's in the top lane, getting that Pulse Destroyer, so picking up that EMP might be good. They have just so much sustain down here.
Yeah, meanwhile, Joker's kind of coming down from... actually, he's just pushing the middle lane, excuse me. So it's a 3-on-5 here at the bottom. But if Field Team 6 doesn't make something happen now, Aware Academy is pushing both the other lanes.
Wow, the amount of damage. Flash starts to take the turret aggro, immediately pops his Speedstorm and is just able to take that poor Doomsday out. I don't think he even saw it coming.
No, Doomsday was in the front like he should be, taking some of the damage for Cyborg and Poison Ivy, but against 5 members of Field Team 6, which is too much of damage output.
They're doing a really good job of sticking together and pushing the advantage that they've worked really hard to create.
And instantly, of course, as soon as that dampener went down, we saw Aware Academy's Joker retreat. We saw Gas Cat pull back as well. But that means they're not pushing that middle and top lane like they were earlier. I mean, the top lane, Drone Weave is still pushing, but it's not scary enough to really threaten the dampener of Field Team 6 here at the top.
That is true. We saw that Adby did so well throughout almost the entire game, but as soon as Field Team 6 picked up on that being the reason for top getting decimated, they decided they had enough of it, and now they've got the bottom dampener before top even got pushed to there. So it looks like they're gonna need to do something tricksy to establish this victory.
Yeah, Field Team 6, you know, they were behind for about the first 15 minutes, but now they're definitely ahead. 10k credits ahead. They've already taken out 1 dampener. The other 2 dampeners are exposed. They still have a turret on their bottom lane to protect that, and all 3 of their dampeners are still at max life as well.
I would be a little bit cautious if I were Aware Academy. I don't think you want to go in there and fight those that are just objectively stronger than you in terms of artifacts and levels. Let's see, take a look even at the levels. Rathazon is level 19, and Adby's level 19 because they've been doing so much solo laning, but I think that, I guess that's not really the case. Atomic Poison Ivy only level 15 and NE16. The levels are actually pretty close, but levels only add so much, but in general, that 10k credit difference is going to be pretty substantial. Aware Academy actually activating the Leviathan, but I don't know, the lurking around from FTS, no, please don't.
That is a scary creature right there. If you take it out, you rewarded greatly with a couple drops, one that gives their whole team a shield, and one that can put anyone around you in stasis so you can lock down part of the team while you deal with the rest. But of course, it's a very difficult drone to take out, is a Leviathan.
Even for FTS being so strong, they're gonna make somebody suffer really hard to take that damage. So I think that they actually decided to kind of let that go. I don't even know if Field Team 6, even the buffs that the Leviathan drops might not be worth it to them, considering how strong the Leviathan is, or maybe they're just having a lot of fun in the current strategy that they're using and don't want to take the risk that Aware Academy would drop in on them and steal the Leviathan from them.
So Aware Academy is kind of starting to get a little spread out, and that could be risky. Oh, Adby could be in trouble. He's got Flash on his case, so he's not even that close to turret. He's having to run up, but he's at the right direction. Superman's going to cut him off. Oh, no, Adby. That's an interesting choice of Flash ultimate, but actually, Advi's going to escape. Superman did not want to risk being caught out by the entire Aware Academy team.
Yeah, they did force him to pop his invulnerability, and I think invulnerability might have a longer cooldown than Flash's ultimate at the current time. Maybe only by a teensy-weensy bit, but I think maybe he was just kind of hoping that somebody else would come and help take him out, which would have been a definite play.
For Field Team 6. And
yes.
Doomsday here is charging in. He's looking angry, turns on to Rage. Meanwhile, Field Team 6 trying to take down the Raider, but they're being pursued. They've already taken out the Raider. McChuckles gets into front, taking some damage. Fresh Snow goes down super fast. Meanwhile, Rathazin is rabbited. Gascat not able to deal so much damage to Rabbit for him, but Aware Academy picking up a couple kills of their own, taking down Myth.
I think that they needed to focus Myth a little bit more. Myth didn't go down until towards the end of that fight, and they just let Nick run Rampage too.
Yeah, you know, I feel like they have to focus Flash first.
I feel like they shouldn't be fighting these team fights in general because they're so underfed.
That's probably true, but if they do choose to fight the team fights, I really think they got to get rid of Flash first because, you know, he can always get off one round of his skills, but if you let him, you know, get a second cast on every one of those abilities, that's when all of a sudden he's already taken out 1 or 2 of your protectors. He takes out Cyborg so fast. Yeah. And if you lose Cyborg and Gascat, you're just in your world trouble.
Now they've got the second. Can we actually take a look at the bottom dampener? I want to see if it's coming. Yep, so that's almost on its way back up, but they're probably not going to have too much.
The power
they're going to end
already
it.
Hurt.
They're ending it.
Yeah, Nick almost goes down, but it was worth the hits. Actually, a lot of drones here from Aware Academy, and they're all about to come up. I don't think that Field Team 6 can finish it quite yet. Not with, you know,
with no Myth.
Yeah, no Myth, no Johnny, and you know, they're pretty beat up. But this top dampener is taking damage too. They've got, you know, the super drones pushing 2 lanes now. And Aware Academy is going to have to get a really great team fight, maybe some good use of objectives to try to get back in this game.
I don't know. It's definitely not as convincing as the prior match was. We see a lot of opposition on Aware Academy's side, but Field Team 6 is once again just doing really well in the objectives, and look at all of their cameras on the map too. When you're forced to kind of hang back in your base, you don't have the safety of warding the entire jungle and knowing where the enemies are, so they're pretty limited on Aware's side.
It's like Fresh Snow charging out again. He's trying to make something happen. Rathazin pushing over top. Advi, I always get scared when I see Cyborg wandering out, but he was just trying to put a ward out, instantly running, saying, I want nothing to do with the Flash. And actually, Rathazin has got to be careful, as Gascat is a fast and evasive champion, but the Flash is the master of running down. Oh, Rathazin. Be careful, Rathazin. Oh, they thought Rathazin would go down. But in
once again, the juke.
Great moves by Rathazin, but here's Fresh Snow, caught a little bit off guard. He's going to try to escape. And both the teams posturing. You know, we do have Poison Ivy and Joker pushing on the bottom for Aware Academy, whereas Field Team 6 is kind of amassing their full team up top. But no, it looks like, are Johnny and Myth going to head bottom, or are they going to push the mid lane?
I don't know. It looks like he's actually kind of sticking to the mid lane. I feel like they're hesitating a little bit, and I worry for Field Team 6's progress in terms of they're going to level off. I think that Flash kind of reaches a peak power point. You know what I'm saying? And Atomic Poison Ivy being tanky doesn't really deal a substantial amount of damage. If they let Cyborg and Gascat just get ultra fed, I don't know if that's something that they really want to contest. So it's actually good. It seems like there's at least 3 grouping in the top lane trying to make that aggressive play. But without Mythological and, you know, and without their Zatanna, without Johnny, it's going to be kind of risky for them to stay up here.
It is kind of risky. I mean, Flash can usually escape, but Atomic Poison Ivy is not the best at escaping. She doesn't have any real great escape. I mean, she can slow the other team, but if there's too many of them attacking from multiple angles, she could be in trouble. Johnny, though, is now reinforcing while Myth keeps pushing at the bottom. And can they fight this 4-on-5?
I have a feeling that they might be able to, but even if they get wiped, that bottom dampener might be going down, or at least that
Flash ultimate, so much damage. Advi goes down almost instantly, but Nick goes down as well. The 4-on-5 is you know, favoring Aware Academy right now. They're starting to counter push, but can they make this happen? They did lose Advi and they lost their Joker. Field Team 6 is trying to escape now, but Rathazin should be able to pursue very well here.
His ult was actually, it's a pretty low cooldown as far as ults go, but he was unable to use it in that a lot of time, and now they're securing a second dampener with the distraction that was going on in the top lane. So Aware Academy lost 2, FTS only had 1 go down, and they secured that bottom dampener. So I think all in all, that was a victory for Field Team 6.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you fight a 4-on-5 and take down 2 for only losing 1,
yeah,
you can't
Grim
call that anything but a win.
Grim prospect that I can't speak today. I ain't got a lick of sense.
We do see Field Team 6 now kind of regrouping. I think they're going to wait for Nick to come back. We do have McChuckles with that heal drop. And then he may go for either a push around top to try to take out the 3rd dampener, or maybe around middle and try to re-kill the dampener the instant it pops back up.
Yeah, that's kind of what they were doing, cycling it before. When they took the middle one, the bottom one came back up, and now they've got the middle one coming back up. They're spending so much time kind of hanging back and taking the objectives. I'd like to see them kind of just push harder, because I think they're already so established at this point. They just need to hug each other's bums and like stay in one lane and just push it down.
Looks like now they might be doing that in the middle lane. Flash catching up to the rest of the team as they position in the middle. Aware Academy is kind of converging on the bottom lane, where they're all kind of hiding here. But, you know, if you all spread out and hide, that's great for ambushing someone. But as long as Field Team 6 stays together, they should be safe.
Don't do it, Aware Academy.
Yeah, the X-ray vision lets them know exactly where Aware Academy's forces are allocated. Aware Academy is going to retreat. They're going to try to defend its middle dampener once that respawns. But can they do it? I mean, we have Myth has the Raul Ghul's robe up, so even if they take him out, they'll take him out twice in a row. That Resurrection Lazarus effect is quite strong in the later stages of an Infinite Crisis match.
We also see EMP on Superman. I bet you he's prepared to just drop that right down in case they try and contest it. And there it is. He didn't even need it at that point.
Looks like Doomsday really putting a lot of damage on Superman, but was that the right target to go for? There's still a lot of damage from Field Team 6, but Flash goes down as well. McChuckles having to retreat. Aware Academy with a great set of moves there. Adafy does go down, but I think, oh, a nice Mr. Punchy on Gasp at Myth. He is going to be resurrected, but right in the middle of a present, and that's not what you want to have happen. Oh, wait a minute. His lifesteal, holy moly, his lifesteal. He was able to take out Joker before he went down.
So now, that instantly essentially became a 5v4 in Aware Academy's favor because of the perfect charge by Doomsday and the lack of reaction speed on Field Team 6. But when they realized that they were at such a disadvantage and turned around to fight, even after losing Flash almost immediately after, they were still able to convert 3 kills despite losing 4 of their own in total. So I think that still speaks to the power of Field Team 6 as a team. Yeah,
I mean, there's no doubt that they're definitely playing stronger in this specific game, and they have the upper hand now. But if Aware Academy pulls off another couple moves like that, they could start counter-pushing it and win the game. Right now, they really suck on the defensive because they're missing 2 dampeners, which means that these super drones, if they're not addressed, will push all the way through and just take out this last power core turret, and they cannot afford to lose this last power core turret.
Yeah, and with Zatanna going for that EMP in the top lane, having that is probably going to be really, really tough to do anything about for Aware Academy, unless they take her out before she's able to drop it or whomever grabs it back at the beacon.
I'd say Field Team 6 is remassing up. Wrath isn't going to grab the EMP here, and you know it's actually interesting. Normally EMPs are most useful on the offense, but when you're dealing with a massive packs of super drones because you lost a couple dampeners, that EMP could be the difference in the battle, just kind of try to neutralize those drones in the engagement.
I don't know that, you know, it's actually, I don't know if many people know this fact, but when the dampeners revive and they kind of reconstruct themselves over time, they have less and less health to prevent people who are consistently losing from being able to just turtle. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In the event that it's like you still have a chance to come back, but because you're losing, it doesn't want it to be like the people who have been losing are able to just keep the same strength all throughout. You know, because if you're able to just repeatedly get the enemy.
Rathagen just dives the turret, doesn't even need a drone wave, takes it out, but meanwhile Field Team 6 is actually doing a giant counter push here, and Rathagen has got to get back to defend. They cannot be undermanned when they only have a single power core turret left at half-life.
It was an interesting choice though. Myth actually decided to back at that exact time, probably going back to complete an item, but there goes the top dampener. Didn't even use it for that inner power core turret, but they're probably not going to need to. No,
I think they may back away now and wait for Myth. That would be the much safer play, as they know that with all 3 dampeners down, if they time goes on, they're going to get some massive drone pressure on Aware Academy.
I'd like to see them go for the Leviathan and pick up that stasis and that team shields, because that would probably put it in. That would be the ringer. I think if they even caught people in stasis and didn't wait for them to murder, they would just be able to take out that turret, and then the power core would be exposed.
We'll see if they choose to do that. Right now, they're kind of remassing up in the middle. Aware Academy may be aware of this. They're amassing ML too, but they have to have Joker defend the top lane. That again is the advantage of killing the other team's dampeners, is they can't all be in one lane because they will die to those Super Jones.
The bottom dampener is up, but still having 2 dampeners down is going to give you many elite drones. Ooh.
I think Rathazin was seen if they were on the Leviathan, kind of a scouting mission, and with Gascat you have a lot of escapability, so if you're going to send someone out to scout, Gascat is champion, but oh no! Advi dies instantly to the Flash after slow by Superman. Fresh Snow is going to go down as well. He does push Flash in a wall, but on his own, what can he do? And now they have a minute where there's no Cyborg, no Doomsday. That means there's no one up front for Aware Academy who can take damage. They've lost probably about half their damage output as well. They're still missing 2 dampeners, and what can stop Field Team 6 from just countering for the win right now?
I think probably nothing. I don't mean to be a pessimist, but Aware Academy getting, Advi getting caught out like that was, I think that was the game.
Well, we're gonna see. There comes Flash Superman. Look how fast that Power Core turret does go down. Superman ultimate onto Joker, takes him out. The Power Core is going down in seconds, and that's gonna take that out. And a great game by Field Team 6. It was really cool after seeing yesterday's game where we saw KGB just winning early on and continuing to snowball and just dominate the game. We saw a game where actually Aware Academy was definitely winning the lanes. They were looking really strong for the first 15 minutes. I mean, Gascat, Rathazin was just pushing Flash around in the early parts of the game. They're pushing both top with Advi and bottom with Poison Ivy and Joker. But Field Team 6 in the mid game just all of a sudden exploded and just won every single team fight.
Yeah, it seems like they scaled a little bit better, and once they decided to get together and start making those team plays, they were able to take that victory back, and it was pretty well deserved. They got their fate, I think, steadied, or whatever that phrase is, something to do with sea legs and water and something like that. But it took a little bit of adjustment, but they did it. They came back.
Yeah.
I'm proud of them.
It was a great job. They always had such great focus in every engagement.
Yeah.
Like every engagement, Cyborg, Poison Ivy, or Gascat went down so super fast, and then you have Doomsday who's pushed someone in a wall, but there's no one on his team who can follow up and finish off that champion, and so he's like, yeah, I'm giving you a nice hug with claws, but the way he built was more, he built Ruby of Life, he built Spear of Destiny, he built Fragment of Mogo, he built a lot of kind of items that made sure that he could stay alive in the battle, but he couldn't really finish off any champion.
And I mean, if the enemy team is super fed and you have a lot of damage, no amount of armor or health is going to keep you alive when every single person is like, oh, Doomsday just charged into us, everybody pull focus onto him, he's gonna blow up.
Yeah.
And without Advi, because usually Advi went down first, and it was like, there is an Advi, there isn't an Advi, there was no in between.
he would come forward, get off like one nice tracer shot, maybe one basic attack, then he'd be stunned by Atomic Poison Ivy, frozen by Superman, and then Flash with the Flash attack followed by F equals MA, followed by Psy Scimitar charge, basic attack. Those 3 skills executed in a row.
I think Doomsday even defected a couple times and charged Advi into the wall.
Could be.
Yeah, because like I can't even like contemplate how that much damage could happen so quickly.
It's brutal with I think honestly Flash has the highest burst damage in the game, in the super late game. If you're looking at in a period of half a second who can deal the most damage, I think it's Flash. Then of course he has to wait till his cooldowns come back up. But in that short period of time, he has super burst damage, which against someone like Cyborg you need to take out instantly.
Right.
He's a great counter pick champion.
Yep, they had the double dive going on with Superman and the Flash, whereas Doomsday was the only one who could go in, and he was relying on his entire team to be able to pull focus, but there was just too much. There's too much I'm here and you're not going on for Field Team 6. So congratulations to them, and good game for Aware Academy putting up with all of that nonsense.
Yeah, Field Team 6 is going to advance into the winner bracket semifinals. I believe they're going to be going up against KGB in the semifinals. That should be a great match. Aware Academy fans, don't worry, they're not out of the tournament yet. They're just going to drop down to the lower bracket, where if they win their next several matches, we can see them again in the later stages of the tournament. But that's it for this match. Thank you guys for watching, and tune in again next week for another winners bracket round 1 match, Vex against Absolute Legends.